It starts small. You get pulled over for speeding, you see the flashing lights in your rearview mirror. Your heart sinks. You know you are going too fast. The officer walks to your window. He looks tired. He tells you the ticket will be expensive, a lot of points on your license. Your insurance will go up. He lets those words hang in the air. Then he looks at you. He says maybe there's a way to handle this right here. He doesn't say the word. He doesn't have to. You know what he means? You have $50 in your wallet. You think about it. Pay the 50 now, or pay hundreds later. It feels like a simple choice. This is the most common picture of a bribe. A small cash payment to make a small problem go away. It's direct, it's personal. It happens every day, all over the world, but a bribe is more than just cash slipped to a police officer. It has many faces. Sometimes it's not cash, it's a gift. A nice watch for a government clerk to expedite your paperwork. A new phone for the inspector who needs to sign off on your construction project. The gift is never called a bribe. It's a token of appreciation. It's a gesture of goodwill. But its purpose is the same. It's a payment for a service you're not supposed to get, or to get it faster than everyone else. It's a way to jump the line. The line can be for anything: a permit to build a house, a license to open a business, a spot for your child in a good school. In many places, these things are supposed to be decided by rules, by merit, by who was first. A bribe replaces the rules with a price tag. The question is no longer, do I qualify? It's, can I afford it? And the person you're bribing isn't always a low-level official. The bigger the problem you need to solve, the higher up you have to go. A company might need a huge government contract. They can't just offer an envelope of cash to a minister. It's more sophisticated. The bribe might be a high-paying job for the minister's son. It might be a scholarship for his daughter to study abroad. It might be a consulting fee paid to a company the minister's wife secretly owns. This is corruption in a suit and tie. It happens in boardrooms and fancy restaurants, not on the side of the road. But the core idea is identical. Money is being used to twist a decision. There's also the other side of the coin. Sometimes it's not you offering the bribe, it's the official demanding it. This is extortion. The building inspector finds a dozen tiny problems with your new restaurant. He says it will take months to fix them all. You'll go bankrupt before you can even open. Or, he suggests, a payment could make him see things differently. The problems might just disappear. In this case, you're not trying to get an unfair advantage. You're just trying to get what you're legally entitled to. You're being forced to pay to unlock a door that should already be open. Many people in this situation feel they have no choice. They feel like victims, and in many ways they are. The language of bribery is always soft. People don't use direct words, they talk around it. Can you help me out? Is there a fee for faster service? We should take care of our friends. This vague language provides a layer of protection. It allows both people to pretend something else is happening. The giver can tell themselves they're just being generous. The taker can tell themselves they're just accepting a gift. It sanitizes the act. It makes it easier to swallow. But no matter the form, the language, or the amount, it all comes down to the same thing. A bribe is a transaction that corrupts a process. It takes a system that is supposed to be fair and makes it unfair. It puts a price on things that shouldn't have one, like justice, safety, and equality. It's a shortcut. And like most shortcuts, it has hidden costs. You might get out of your speeding ticket. The company might get its contract, the restaurant might get its permit. In the moment, it feels like a win. But someone, somewhere, always pays the price. Bribery isn't just a financial transaction. It's a human one. It happens because of fear, greed, desperation, and convenience. To understand why people bribe, you have to look at both sides, the person offering the money and the person taking it. Their reasons are often two sides of the same broken system. Let's start with the person paying. Why do they do it? Often, the simple answer is fear. Fear of a huge fine. Fear of losing their driver's license. Fear of their business being shut down. The bribe feels like a small, manageable price to escape a much larger, more frightening consequence. It's an insurance policy against a worse fate. You're not thinking about ethics. You're thinking about survival. Sometimes it's not fear, but impatience. The official process is slow. It's bureaucratic. It's a mountain of paperwork and endless waiting. You need to get your license to start your business and earn a living. You need to get your passport to see a sick relative. The system is a wall. A bribe feels like a key. It's a way to cut through the red tape. In this mindset, the bribe is just a service fee. You're paying for speed. It feels less like a crime and more like a frustrating but necessary cost of doing business. You rationalize it. You tell yourself you're not hurting anyone. You're just trying to get things done in a system that doesn't work. Then there is the element of power. For some, bribery is a tool to gain an advantage. They aren't trying to survive, they are trying to win. The construction company that bribes an official to win a contract isn't scared. They are ambitious. They want to beat their competitors. The bribe is a strategic investment. They calculate the cost of the bribe against the profit of the contract. If the numbers work, they do it. It's a cold, rational decision. They see the rules not as moral guidelines, but as obstacles to be overcome. Now let's look at the person accepting the bribe. Why do they take the risk? The most common reason is need. A police officer or a government clerk might be paid very little. Their salary isn't enough to feed their family, pay for school, or cover medical bills. They see people with money, driving fancy cars, and living in nice houses. They feel left behind. The bribe is a way to bridge the gap. It's a way to get by. They might not feel good about it. They might feel shame, but they feel the need is greater than the shame. They tell themselves they are just taking a little from people who can afford it. Anyway, but it's not always about need. Sometimes it's about greed. The official already makes a decent living. But they want more. They want a bigger house, a faster car, a more luxurious lifestyle. Their power gives them the opportunity to get it. They see their position not as a public service, but as a personal business. Every signature, every stamp, every approval has a price. This is a mindset of entitlement. They believe they deserve more. They feel no guilt. They see the public they are supposed to serve as a collection of customers to be squeezed. And then there is the most powerful reason of all, because it's normal. In some places, corruption is so widespread that it becomes the system itself. Everyone does it. If you want to get anything done, you have to pay. It's an unwritten rule. A new police recruit sees all the senior officers taking money. A young clerk is told by her boss which paperwork requires an extra fee. To refuse is to be naive. To refuse is to make trouble for yourself and your colleague. In this environment, an honest person is the one who stands out. The pressure to conform is immense. Resisting the system feels futile, like trying to swim against a strong current. It's easier to just go with the flow. The act of taking a bribe is no longer a moral failure. It's just how the world works. So you have this perfect toxic storm, a public that is scared, impatient, or ambitious, and a group of officials who are needy, greedy, or just following the crowd. The bribe becomes the bridge between them. It's a solution of sorts. It solves the driver's immediate problem with the speeding ticket. It solves the official's immediate problem of a low salary. It works. In the short term, for the two people involved, it works beautifully. And that is why it is so difficult to stop. The price of a bribe seems simple at first. It's the $50 you hand to the police officer. It's the $1,000 you give the inspector. It is a clear, defined number, but that's just the down payment. The real cost is much higher, and it's not paid by just one person. It's a bill that gets sent to everyone. Think about that speeding ticket again. You paid the officer and drove away. You saved money, but what happened? An officer of the law just learned that he can use his uniform to make extra cash. He is more likely to do it again. Maybe next time he won't just stop someone for speeding. Maybe he'll stop someone who is innocent and invent a reason, hoping for a payday. The trust between the police and the public starts to crack. People no longer see the police as protectors. They see them as predators. Now think about the building inspector who took money to approve your restaurant. You got your permit, but maybe he overlooked a real fire hazard. Maybe the wiring was faulty. A few years later, a fire starts. People are hurt. The building burns down. The bribe that seemed like a simple solution led to a disaster. This happens all the time. Bridges collapse because a contractor bribed an inspector to use cheap materials. Medicines are fake because a company paid off a regulator to look the other way. Unqualified surgeons get licenses through bribery, and patients die on the operating table. The real cost of corruption is often paid in human lives. Bribery also creates a world of deep injustice. It divides society into two groups, those who can afford to pay and those who cannot. If you have money, the rules don't apply to you. You can break the law and buy your way out of it. You can get the best contracts, the best education, the best healthcare, not through merit, but with cash. If you are poor, you are stuck. You have to wait in every line. You have to follow every rule to the letter. And if you face an official who demands a bribe you can't pay, you get nothing. Your business stays closed. Your child stays out of school. You might even go to jail for a minor offense that a rich person would walk away from. This erodes something fundamental in a society, the idea of fairness. When people see that the system is rigged, they lose faith in it. They lose faith in the government, in the courts, and the police. They start to believe that hard work and honesty don't matter. The only thing that matters is money and connections. This creates a culture of cynicism. People become disconnected from their own country. Why follow the law when the powerful don't? Why pay taxes when the money will just be stolen by corrupt officials? A society sick with corruption slowly rots from the inside. And there's a personal cost, even for the person who pays the bribe. You might feel relief at first. But then comes the anxiety. The officer you bribed knows you broke the law, he knows you paid him. He has power over you. What if he comes back and demands more money later? What if there's a secret investigation and your name is on a list? You live with a low level of fear. You've crossed the line and you can't uncross it. You've compromised a piece of yourself. Each small bribe makes the next one easier. It chips away your own sense of integrity. You start to become the kind of person you never thought you'd be. So the $50 is just the beginning. The real cost is a police force you can't trust. It's a bridge that falls down. It's a legal system that only works for the rich. It's a society where nobody believes in fairness anymore, and it's a little piece of your own soul. When you add it all up, the bribe is the most expensive payment you will ever make. Bribery doesn't happen in a vacuum. It grows in certain types of soil. Like a weed, it thrives in some environments and withers in others. To understand if you can bribe your way out of trouble, you have to understand the ecosystem you are in. Some places make it easy. Some make it almost impossible. Corruption thrives where institutions are weak. What does that mean? It means the official systems don't work as they should. The courts are slow and not independent. The police are poorly trained and underpaid. The rules for getting a license or a permit are incredibly complicated and confusing. When the formal system is broken, an informal system takes its place. That informal system is built on personal connections and bribes. The bribe becomes a logical response to a dysfunctional environment. It's the only way to get things done, because the proper way is a dead end. Transparency is the enemy of corruption. Bribery loves secrecy. It happens in quiet conversations, in unmarked envelopes, in back rooms. Where there is no transparency, there is no accountability. If the public doesn't know how the government awards contracts, it's easy for a company to win by paying a bribe. If a court proceeding is held behind closed doors, it's easy for a judge to be paid off. But when decisions are made in the open, corruption has a harder time hiding. When government budgets are published online, people can see where the money is going. When police officers wear body cameras, it's much harder for them to demand a bribe during a traffic stop. The light is a powerful disinfectant. The salaries of public officials play a huge role. When police officers, teachers, and clerks are paid so little that they can't support their families, the temptation to take a bribe is enormous. It's not an excuse, but it's a reality. They feel the system has failed them, so they feel justified in cheating the system. In countries with low levels of corruption, public servants are often paid a decent, professional wage. This doesn't eliminate greed, but it removes the desperation. It makes them less vulnerable to temptation and gives them more to lose if they get caught. Perhaps the most important factor is the culture of impunity. Impunity means that people can commit crimes and get away with it. If officials who take bribes are never investigated, never arrested, and never punished, then there is no reason for them to stop. The risk is zero. This sends a powerful message to everyone else: corruption is tolerated here. To fight this, a country needs a strong and independent justice system. It needs investigators who are not afraid to go after powerful people. It needs judges who cannot be bought. When a high-level official is put on trial and sent to jail for corruption, it sends shockwaves through the entire system. It tells everyone that the rules are real and that nobody is above the law. Conversely, corruption struggles to survive where there are strong checks and balances. A free press is one of the most important. Journalists who can investigate and report on corruption without fear of being arrested or killed are essential. They act as public watchdogs, they expose secrets and hold powerful people accountable. Likewise, active citizen groups and non-governmental organizations can put pressure on governments to be more transparent and honest. This technology can also change the ecosystem. Moving processes online can dramatically reduce opportunities for bribery. When you apply for a driver's license or a building permit through a website, you remove the human interaction. There is no clerk to bribe for faster service. The decision is based on the data you enter. Digital payment systems also create a paper trail, making it much harder to hide illicit transactions. Cash is the friend of corruption. Digital footprints are its enemy. So, when you find yourself in a situation where a bribe seems possible, you are standing in a specific kind of ecosystem. It is likely a place with weak institutions, a lack of transparency, and a culture where people believe they can get away with it. In a healthier ecosystem, the idea of offering a bribe to an officer would be unthinkable. Not just because it's wrong, but because it wouldn't work. The officer would have too much to lose. The risk of getting caught would be too high, and the system would be built to reject the bribe, not to welcome it. So we come back to the original question. Could you bribe your way out of trouble? The answer, in many parts of the world, is yes, you can. People do it every single day. They pay the bribe, and the problem in front of them disappears. The ticket is torn up. The permit is approved. The case is dismissed. On a purely practical, short-term level, it often works. But the real question is not, could you, but should you? And that is a much harder question. It's a question that you can only answer when you are the one standing on the side of the road with the flashing lights in your eyes trying to decide what to do. Let's imagine that moment. You are in a foreign country, you are driving, and you make a mistake. You are pulled over. The officer tells you that you have committed a serious offense. He says you'll have to come to the station. Your car will be impounded. You will have to go to court next week. Your whole trip will be ruined. You will be stuck here. He says all of this slowly. Then he pauses, and he says, or we can solve this problem right now. In that moment, 1,000 things go through your mind. You think about the cost, the inconvenience, the fear of a foreign legal system. Your mind starts to build justifications. This is how things are done here. It's just a small amount of money. I'm not trying to hurt anyone. I just want to go. This is a trap, and I have to pay to get out of it. You will feel a powerful urge to just pay the money and make it all go away. It feels like the easy way out. But now, think about the other path, the one where you refuse. You say, I understand. I will go to the station. Please write the ticket. This path is much harder. It is uncertain. It will definitely ruin your day. It might ruin your week. It is scary. But what happens on this path? Maybe the officer is bluffing. Maybe he was just hoping for an easy payday. When he sees you are willing to follow the formal process, he might back down. He might just give you a warning or a legitimate ticket because dealing with the paperwork is too much hassle for him. In this case, your refusal de-escalated the situation. You called his bluff and he folded. Or maybe he is serious. You go to the station, it's a nightmare. You spend hours waiting. You have to pay a fine. It's a frustrating and expensive experience. But you went through the system. You did not participate in its corruption. You did not empower a corrupt official. You did not break your own moral code. You leave with your integrity intact. It's a small personal victory, but it matters. There is a third, more dangerous possibility. Your refusal to pay could anger the officer. He could make things much worse for you out of spite. He could invent more charges. This is the biggest fear, and it is a real risk in some places. It is why many people decide to pay. They see the bribe not as a choice, but as a necessity for their own safety. There is no simple one-size-fits-all answer. The right choice in a low-stakes situation with a traffic cop might be different from the choice you'd make when a corrupt inspector is threatening to destroy your family's business, the one you've poured your life savings into. Life is messy and complicated. To simply say, never pay a bribe is easy from a distance. It's much harder when you are the one facing the consequences. But we should be clear about what we are doing when we pay a bribe. We are not just solving our problem, we are casting a vote, we are voting for a world where rules are for sale. We are voting for a system where the rich have one set of laws and the poor have another. We are feeding the very monster that is causing the problem in the first place. Every bribe, no matter how small, adds another brick to the wall of corruption that traps so many people. The person who refuses to pay the bribe is also casting a vote. They are voting for a world of fairness and integrity. Their individual act might seem pointless. It won't fix the whole system, but it is not nothing. It is a small act of resistance. It is a declaration that some things are not for sale. And when enough people start making that choice, the ecosystem begins to change. The culture begins to shift. It is a slow, difficult process built one small, honest decision at a time. So could you bribe your way out of trouble? Yes. But maybe the real trouble isn't the speeding ticket. Maybe the real trouble is living in a world where you have to ask that question in the first place. And getting out of that kind of trouble requires a very different kind of payment. It requires courage.